like I was watching with the French subtitles because like I speak a little bit of French, and
Ooh,
they call it
big brag.
the subtitle says Le Pogmentary.
La Pogmentary is better a
Yeah.
little bit.
It's still so dumb.
Pogmentary is
Yeah.
so much worse.
Pogmentary.
Pogmentary.
No,
Pogmentary.
would have worked if it was a good documentary. People would have been like, "That's cute. That's fun."
You're right. It is the clinical level of narcissism attached to the Pogmentary.
Are we recording?
Yeah, well,
Oh,
Okay,
we're
we are.
recording. All right. Okay.
Is this like what we do before we do the lock the gates?
There's
intro?
no escape from Pog.
no, it's way worse. It's just the theme song for the Pogmentary.
The Pog leave it or not. I'm pogging on Pog.
Pog, 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 pog.
First round.
It's Pogba!
Talk of the town. Black man.
He's a showman!
Je suis né prêt. Faut être prêt à tomber, à me relever, à me battre et à gagner.
Welcome to Bottle Episodes.
I'm David Piccolomini.
I'm Daniel Crow.
And this week we're joined by comedian
Ross Parsons.
There you
Tonight
go.
known as Ross Pogsons.
Ross Pog Parsons.
David Piccolomini.
Pog, you'll Pog.
Pog
Crow?
Poggle Pog.
Oh,
Man,
it's-
this is-
Doctor told me to go see a famous clown, Pagliacci. Pagliacci.
Okay, let's explain. We're talking about the Pogmentary, which is a French documentary about what is his name?
Paul Pogba.
He's a French soccer player, football player who feels like he's not getting paid enough by Manchester United and has decided to produce a whole documentary about himself in that style.
A very special documentary.
Well, it's
The
like it was
lowest-
supposed to be like the decision, right? Like he didn't know he
Yeah.
wasn't going to re-sign until like.
But they're setting up in the first episode that it's like he's not getting paid what he's worth.
Well, yeah, but I think by the time it was in the can, they were all like, "Yeah, this isn't good for us." Like I like how they cover the first departure from Manchester United. They're like, Sir Alex Ferguson wasn't nice to me. And then like sinister music starts playing over like footage of this old Scotsman.
Do you know what's a good way to up your worth and get paid what you think you deserve? Not making the lowest rated show in the history of IMDb, which is what happened to the Pogmentary.
I mean, he still got paid and everything, right? Like,
Presumably
yeah.
for the documentary.
Well, I mean, no, I meant like just like he signed with Juventus, like he still got like a great salary, right?
I bet he took a pay cut.
Yeah.
I mean,
They weren't
sure,
willing to pay a
he's
transfer fee for him or anything.
But he did. I mean, he did. He's still getting. He is still like a very successful
No,
soccer
look,
player.
Paul Pogba's better at soccer than you or I will ever be at anything. But
Yeah.
when it comes to making documentaries,
He is.
he's at the
so
bottom
much
of the
worse.
barrel.
It is. The whole thing. The whole documentary just feels like he saw. What was
The Last Dance.
Yeah, The Last Dance.
Well, the thing about The Last Dance is like it's it like Michael Jordan does sort of like he'd been holding on to this footage for years, right?
Mhm.
And like when people started talking about LeBron James being the greatest of all time, he's like, I gotta fucking change the narrative and control the brand. So he releases this documentary.
Guy loves to win.
And it's like it sanitizes a story, but at the same time, it doesn't like hide everything. He's like, I like to gamble. I like to, I drink.
yeah.
Like Pogba's all like, I like to give food to homeless people. I like to give them like whole fucking bags
Which
of
he
food.
never has done prior to cameras showing up.
And I love it's like this, like here I am handing out bags of food to homeless people, multiple homeless people, and then smash cut to I'm in the biggest walk-in closet I've ever fucking seen. It's like bigger than my New York apartment.
Do you know what the thing that really sums up the difference between The Last Dance and Pogmentary is? It's the view that Michael Jordan has on teammates and just other people in general versus the view Paul Pogba has. Because Michael Jordan would dedicate like an entire episode to how important Scottie Pippen was. But then
Yeah.
in the Pogmentary, in the first episode, he briefly mentions a guy that helped him learn to speak English, Paul Pogba. He's like, yeah, I had a Belgian friend. He taught me English. And then they show this guy, and there's a quick caption that just says, this guy's name, Paul's Belgian friend. And I looked that guy up, and he's a former teammate who played on the Belgian national team.
Are you
And they
shitting me?
just credit him as Paul's Belgian friend.
Okay, it's so weird, like just like all the personal details, because like there's one moment where he's on the way to a Manchester game, and like there's like someone sitting in the car with him and just says so and so, his teammate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all of every one of it's very clear how much he loves himself and every angle of the documentary. You can just feel that. I really also hate it because I don't speak any French. I had to just watch.
Well, I do speak French, and I fucking hated it. Like
No, but I had to pay full attention in a way that I don't always like. I'm watching these shows, but I can look away from like work it
yeah,
and still know what's going on on screen.
Is it fair to say that Pogmentary is what would happen if you let any French person make a documentary about themselves?
no, because like
I would
you will
I would watch Marion Cotillard's documentary about herself.
Like there are like you can go like any like like several movie theaters here will probably have any like French movie or French documentary, and you will like and it'll be like good enough. Like even if it's boring, it'll be an interesting topic. Like it's worth going to. Like this was just bad. It was like it made me mad at him because like this is like the first bad like French documentary or movie I've ever like had to elect to see.
I do want to give credit to it. It is unquestionably bad, but I don't think it's the worst TV show ever made, unlike what its ratings say.
No.
I don't think it looks nice.
It is well produced. It
It-
is clearly a man who gets paid a lot of money to self-produce a documentary.
Yeah.
It's so dull though. Like nothing happens. It's just like
What are you talking about? There's all those cool scenes where he shows that he actually likes his kids.
Yeah, it was like, oh, I took my kids horseback riding. And I love when he's taking his kid when they're doing the horseback riding thing. It's like one of those things where it's just like where someone guides a horse for you from the ground, and like the people like they catch like some of their faces on camera, and they look so not interested in being there.
I love this.
being there.
Those scenes are always bookended by like him on a yacht, and then me like, yeah, they're not paying me enough every time. And then his manager calls in.
I think the kids were just excited that like his dad was actually home with them.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, shoot a documentary. Will you hang out
Oh,
with
Dad's
us now?
being nice to me. This is what. No.
I mean, the thing is, his manager, I believe, said at one point he finds out that Manchester United is offering $500,000 a week or something for him, and I believe the manager says, "I wouldn't put my Chihuahua on the grass for that much."
Oh yeah.
And also, I can't remember. Does the manager compare himself, or does he compare Pogba to Jesus?
No,
in
he
the first
compares
episode?
himself. He says himself. I think he's like because like what I love like the introduction to him is hilarious because it's like it's just like this big brassy like hip hop music intro with like the graphics like and it's just like this guy
Yeah.
and it's just like
A realistic depiction of what
They-
Jerry
they
Maguire would
compare-
be.
Yeah.
not everybody liked Jesus either. That's what it was. He was like, people don't like me, but not everybody liked Jesus.
I thought it was about Pogba.
I want to say it was about him, but it could be go.
It can apply to either.
I would be like, if you're an agent, that's exactly what you call your client. You're like, listen.
No, I think like some agents don't mind like Revelin being hated. Like Scott Boras, he represents a lot of baseball players. Like teams like absolutely fucking hate him, but he's like, I don't fucking care. I got a great commission.
Yeah,
I'm doing a great job for my clients. My guy got paid $250 million.
I'm basically Jesus.
Yeah.
He does think he's Jesus though.
Pogba?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just so weird because like it is just like I'm a man of faith. Here I am praying. I'm a man who likes homeless people. Here I am giving stuff to homeless people. I'm part of my community. Here I am dedicating a soccer field.
That Nike paid for, or Adidas or
yeah.
something.
And then it's like his mom's crying about it. It's like, oh, your mom? Like there's literally a whole like scene of like his mom just saying he's cool. It's just Millhouse being like, my mom thinks I'm cool.
Have you ever seen The King of Kong?
Yes.
This is what would happen if Billy Mitchell had made The King of Kong.
Yeah, and then some douchebag said I fucking cheated.
That can't be right. I'm the best ever. It is interesting because you said that Michael Jordan made Last Dance because people were saying LeBron James might be better, but Paul Pogba made the Pogmentary because no one was saying he was the best ever.
Yeah, well,
And he wanted to convince them
he's
that
not
he
even
was.
he's not even like he's a great footballer, but like the thing is like football is like there are just so
international.
many. It's international. Yeah, there's literally like he's not even the best French player. Like, and that's not an insult. France has a very deep team.
Who's the best French player?
Mbappe.
Oh, this gives me a good thing to bring up something I learned about. I learned about Paul Pogba, one of my favorite headlines I've ever read.
Wasn't one about his brother?
You're so excited to bring this out.
Here it comes. Paul Pogba hired a witch doctor to put a curse on Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah. they don't cover it. They don't cover that in the document.
And the witch doctor denies that he ever was hired to put a curse on Mbappe by Pogba, but he won't deny that he put the curse on him. He also won't deny that he's ever worked for Pogba. He's done both things, but they were not related.
No, he used a witch doctor for different reasons.
Yeah, and then
It's
the witch
not
doctor
hex related at all.
happened to put a curse on this guy.
I do love the witch doctor, but though being like, well, I can't. I feel like the witch doctor one time was like, I didn't put a curse on that guy, and then Pogba called him and was like, "What do you mean you didn't put a curse on him?"
I
He's
paid
like,
you good money to put a curse
I
on
paid
him.
you $200,000.
That's half of what I make in a week.
That's always a problem. You know, we don't have enough empathy for these like multimillionaires because like they have to put away the first 4 weeks of their earning to pay taxes.
Yeah, we don't have enough empathy because remember in the 4th episode when he had to share a 9-bedroom vacation house with his friend in Miami?
Oh, no.
It was very
I
sad.
see that. Yeah.
Honestly, we tried to watch a little bit of the 4th episode before,
You guys are crazy.
just like as like a refresher of how hateful we watched them. I Think You Should Leave,
Yeah.
and then we were like, let's ruin this.
Let's ruin the
Pogmentary.
buzz.
Pog,
Yeah.
Pog. I need to get into why it's called the Pogmentary though.
Okay,
It's the wrong number of syllables. Pogumentary, Pogbamentary. Those both work. And I think he called it the Pogmentary because Pog is like slang for teens on Twitch for like cool. Poggers.
See, that's pretty
And
slick.
but he's nearly 30.
okay.
That's
It's pathetic to call it that. You're nearly 30, dude.
yeah,
Stop
but,
using
okay.
Twitch slang.
You're an athlete. Kids look up to you. Like literally, like your fan
I mean,
base is
he's
like
also a
12-year-olds who have like your picture on their wall.
So you're a bigger soccer or football fan. I found people discuss this online. I couldn't find any articles confirming it. Did he lose captainship at Manchester United because he wouldn't stop doing Fortnite dances in the locker room after losses?
I don't know that. I wish I had.
I found people online saying that. I think they were just memeing. But I did find evidence he loves Fortnite for what it's worth.
Okay.
Oh no, a lot. I mean, that's like video games like are having like a legitimate impact on athletes these days. Like there will be athletes who will just like be streaming on Twitch the night like before they have a fucking game.
Oh my god. Is
Well,
Pogba
that's the
one of
thing.
those?
It's it's still a competition thing at that point. So it's a different type of winning.
Oh yeah, but
And
you're still not sleeping. Though.
By the way, yeah, no, exactly. It is fucking them up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I looked up Pog is play of the game. So you can be a Pogger or a Pog champ.
I think yeah, it's just
So the
it's-
Pogmentary, so he's the play of the game because he shot that one goal in and will ride till he dies.
Oh,
on
God,
it.
I don't
the
think it-
animation in the show is like goes so fucking hard. I love it.
The
Oh.
animation scenes exist because they don't have enough footage of him playing well.
No, they have footage. They're just like because like they cut to the real footage of him making the goal, but then they're like, well, this.
What if
this
we
show is
animated?
what if we made him the literal center of the universe in this soccer field?
That's actually what this documentary aims to answer. Is what if we made Paul Pogba the center of the universe?
I love. Okay, so like one of the things that like really gets me about this documentary is like there are like so many like interesting personal things that he just glosses over. Like his dad dies, and like they do an animation where they're in the Aurora Borealis for no reason. They're in the hospital room, and then like his dad's dying. Aurora Borealis.
Yeah, stars.
yeah.
Like where my dad is.
It's
in heaven.
sad
Yeah.
that his dad died, but do you think he's happy he didn't have to see the Pogmentary?
I don't know. He probably had to. He probably had to watch it in heaven. But
He's watching Seventh Heaven in heaven
But-
instead of.
but it's like you didn't talk about your relationship with your father whatsoever, like what he meant to you, what his premature death meant to you, like what he even died of. Like there's so much you could have talked about there, and you're just like, oh, yeah, my dad died, and, it was at Aurora Borealis.
But it's that thing where he'll like fake the emotion where he's supposed to feel sad. So it's that thing where it's like, my dad died and it was very difficult for me. And then Aurora Borealis.
And then next scene, I'm like doing something else.
I'm on a yacht and they're not paying me enough.
Like something like when they're talking about, like he's talking about like going to Manchester United as a 16-year-old. Like that's like kind of
That's
a fascinating.
fascinating.
Yeah, like you're literally like a child moving to a different country. Your parents are like making this difficult decision because this is good for you. This is going to be like, a big career move, and you have to do that as a teenager. You have to go somewhere where you don't speak the language. Like I'm an exchange student. I was an exchange student in France, which is why I can speak French. I can relate to like how like lonely it is at first, like how you really have to adjust, and like again, it's just sort of like. And so I went to the UK. I played a lot of soccer, and 12 years later, I have a family. Like he just like there's like so like that's the thing is like there are interesting parts of his life that he just refuses to look into.
Yeah, if he shows any weakness, the idea of Paul Pogba in his mind collapses.
I do love the idea of he's like, if I'm a little bit weak, I won't be able to make any more money from Manchester United if I show weakness at all.
It just like doesn't really talk about like anything about like his mom doesn't say anything about their upbringing other than like, oh, we had it pretty good, we didn't really like suffer that much, childhood was pretty good. Then Paul went off and played soccer. There's no sense of like we had some hard times or like it was like
she just is like I miss my boy. That's like or she probably said a lot of stuff, and then they were like, let's cut to the parts where she's like, I love my son. He's my world to me. I love him so much. They're like, finally.
Normally we would do recaps of the episodes, but I don't know what happens in these other than scenes where Paul Pogba goes, I'm the best, but people hate me.
There's really no structure because it's like the first one's all like the first episode's just like, well, I'm going to be talking about a contract and the season's over. And the second one's like, well, I guess I'm still talking about the contract, going to go to the Euro soon.
And I'm really good, and I don't see why no one else understands. Well, actually, there's one difference between the two episodes, which is the first episode ends with a in memoriam for his agent.
Yeah.
Also, the manager's in a bunch of it, and she's very.
Oh, she is such a weird character to me because like, he's had this manager since like the business manager, not the agent. She's been in his life since he was a teenager, which is just a weird thing that none of us can relate to.
Yeah.
But like all she does is just like, she's also just building up Pogba. She's like, I asked his father, what is a Pogba? He said, it's a warrior who pursues his dreams. And it's just like, you're his manager. You have to know none of this looks good. Like, you have to know this is dog shit. Like, do you want to be on camera? Like, what is your angle with this? Like, were you just like, I just tricked Amazon into paying us like $5 million?
I feel like this was self-financed and Amazon picked it up.
Yeah, this feels like Amazon like bought this later.
Where they were like, yeah, I mean, the guy's got fans. We might as well. I mean, not enough fans to rate it above 1.1, which, by the way, Amazon owns IMDb and has been noted for removing as many bad reviews as they can for their shows.
Like, this isn't like
Wait,
something
really?
that's been reviewed.
Yeah.
Well, like usually it's like when it's really just for their shows.
I believe people called it out with, was it that Lord of the Rings one they did that wasn't getting great reviews?
Oh,
And
I
then
believe it.
they were, I think people were saying that they were juicing those numbers a bit.
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, because
But
like
they-
a lot of times they have to like fix it because like there'll be like things will get review bombed because there was like a Black Little Mermaid, and that's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to step in.
But they never bothered to do that for this. They can't.
Yeah.
They can't come to the defense of the entire country of France, where he's a hero for helping them win the World Cup. Couldn't step in to vote this
Yeah.
above 1.1 because the entire country watching like, yeah, he's not coming off great here.
Yeah, it's like
58 million Instagram followers, and it's still the
1.1
1.1 on Instagram.
That's the thing. I expected.
Or,
I
IMDb.
expected the rating to just be like, well, this is just angry Manchester City fans who think he didn't play very well for them, and they didn't like how he left, and they reviewed it very poorly. He probably comes off, an athlete that's a little out of touch. That's probably fine, but no, he doesn't. He comes off really out of touch.
well, it's just dull. It's just like he launched this as like an exercise in brand management. He just made himself look like the most boring person.
This was the best he could do with the footage he had. Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the real actual problem with the thing is that it's a complete refusal to be vulnerable at any point. That's really where the problem is he just at no point has decided he will let you in a little bit into who he actually is.
Yeah.
He will, though, because what he actually is the best of all time.
There's at one point he's like talking with his girlfriend or something.
Wife.
How dare you?
That man wouldn't have kids without putting a ring on it. He's a man of honor. That's his Paul Pogba you're talking about.
Yeah.
The man who he has honor. He'll make a documentary about a team that he doesn't feel is paying him enough.
So when he's talking with his wife and he's like, me and my wife have this cute game where I am like kind of an asshole to her. And then
she doesn't like it.
she doesn't like it. And she's like, I hate it.
Cut that out, Paul.
She really, she was just like, no, there was no funny about it to her. She was like, this is not playful. It's actually very annoying that this guy treats me like this.
Well, it also is actually, I'll give him a little bit of leeway. It probably is hard to ever grow up.
Oh yeah,
when you're in this situation.
You're literally like you're about to be a millionaire when you're 16,
and then you
already have a business manager,
and you get paid to play a kid's game for your life, and with no real people to tell you no.
I mean, like there was literally a scandal about his recruitment to Manchester United because like they were like he started in Lav, like at a French soccer team. And like the team actually contacted him like on the down low without clearing it with his club, and there was a lot of lawsuits and a settlement about it, and it's like, but going through that as a teenager, where people are clandestinely like pursuing you, they're like, we're not supposed to be talking to you, but we want you to play for our soccer team in the Premier League.
I heard a similar thing went down between Netflix, Amazon, and Hulu for this documentary.
They'll be like, we'll pay you to put this on Amazon. Just keep it away from us.
That's in episode 5 of the Pogmentary.
Please.
We've watched the first 4 episodes. We would like you to send this to Amazon. We will pay you money to sell this to Amazon.
5 episodes is just like such an insane amount of time for this. Because like I remember like it was like this makes me sound old, but like when like LeBron James did the decision, it was already a bad idea.
Yeah.
Like and it was like live TV, but it was just an hour. It was just an hour. And even that was too much. And this is literally, 2.5 hours because it's like 30 minutes episodes?
Yeah.
But does he even reach a decision at the end of it? Because I looked at the time frame. It didn't seem like he had left Manchester United by the time this ended filming. So I think we didn't watch the end. I would imagine it ends on him being like, I don't know. Something's going to happen.
It's just like, it's just legitimately not interesting. It's just like, it's a multimillionaire deciding who's going to pay him, billions next.
Also, I think it's important to talk about how much he actually loses in this documentary.
Yeah.
He is not doing well as a soccer player throughout most of
I guess he loses the last game of the season, and like the Euros he doesn't win.
Yeah, it's just him pumping himself up and then losing and then talking about how he's the greatest. And it's one of the most maddening things I've ever watched. It's the level. And like, because all comedians are narcissists, so we see it, and it's so much harder to see, or so much harder when you're like, how did you get to this level?
Yeah, like
it's not all soccer players. There are plenty of celebrity soccer players that don't have these.
Well, like
documentaries.
comedians are narcissists, but we all hate ourselves.
That's fair.
Like soccer players never like developed that like instinct to hate themselves because they were popular in school. They were like validated every step of their lives by adults who wanted to pay them to come work for them. Like there's no self-loathing there.
Well, but the difference...
Well, maybe he's developed
also,
some after his documentary got trashed.
For the record, there's plenty of self-loathing in sports.
Yeah, but when you talk about like narcissists like Pogba, like
no, there's nothing. Yeah, that guy has been winning since day one, and then forgot about it once he stopped winning as much.
Yeah, I mean, he's still doing fine. He's getting paid tons of money. He's playing in a top flight league.
Yeah, he's keeping himself busy. He did turn down our invite to come on this episode. So it's not like he's got nothing going on.
I mean, it's just so weird because like the whole tone of the documentary is like, this is what a god does. This is what Paul Pogba does. He's a family man. He's a charity man. It's like he's the fucking Pope or something. It's weird.
No, the Pope has like a lot better politics.
I'd
Yeah,
love to
like
watch
the
the
Pope
Pope.
will wash somebody's feet. You know, he'll really get into it.
I mean, this Pope specifically.
You guys want to watch the Pogmentary next?
Oh,
where the Pope goes on vacation to Miami with his model wife after giving a bunch of food to the
Okay,
homeless.
okay, so like the whole thing with his wife is like, oh god, she seems really nice, but like their marriage she seems like one of those like people who like post on Instagram like marriage is something you got to fight for, except like their marriage is nothing to fight for. Like it's so easy. Like,
I mean, yeah,
we
there shouldn't be
work
a
on our
problem.
family. We just take vacations all the time. It's work.
I think the problem is you have to be married to that man, and that is just a lot because that guy makes like small soccer mistakes, and that's his whole.
I don't want to pretend to know his wife though, but if she's a model, she may have been in the same thing where she was just told all her life, like, "Yeah, you're the best." People just liked her because she looked very pretty, and she may have essentially the same mind. I
Well,
don't
yeah,
know where
but
the-
like at the
that
same
may be
time, like shit,
unfair.
like models go through shit where they're just all like, "You better start puking or else you're finished here."
That's also what I thought while watching the documentary.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying the episode, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to it on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get things. It's a new podcast. Just tell a friend even. Watch a bad TV, show them a clip from a bad TV show, and then they're like, wow, this is crazy. Where'd you hear about this? You'd be like, oh yeah, this podcast I listen to. Like, you don't bring it up first. Bring up how valuable you already like the thing is. Like, you know what I mean? Bring that up first. Like, do something weird first, and then you can just bring it up casually. Real smooth. Because, yeah, no, it's dorky to talk about things that you like. It really, I'm doing a show about things that we hate. You know what I mean? It makes sense. So, like, I get that. Don't worry about that. Anyway, this is taking too long already. If you guys like the show, rate, review, and subscribe. And then also, though, just like on Instagram, I'm at DPIC Comedy. Ross Parsons is at The Ross Parsons. And Daniel Crow is at Daniel F. Crow. Check out my comedy special, Goblin King, on YouTube. And, I don't know, TikTok, LickGrandma69. Yeah, it's weird. I love it. Okay, anyway, let's get back to this really awful documentary. Yeah, no, it does seem to just end on a cliffhanger of Paul returns to Europe as the season begins, and he must choose a club to sign with, but he suffers a difficult setback.
What was a difficult setback?
I don't want to say make more episodes because I don't think it would have helped, but film through the end of the season when he actually signs with another team.
I was like, it's weird. It's like he doesn't seem to get rights to like film with any of his teammates or interview anybody. Because like, it would have been interesting if like they were talking to like his Manchester City guys, like, oh, we love having Paul here. He's a funny guy. He's
always bringing witch doctors.
Yeah, he's
around
bringing
to the
witch doctor.
clubhouse.
He's so kooky. He's a character. He's our guy. Like we'd hate to see him go, but you know we understand it's money.
These are very rational things that you could try to do if anyone liked you on your team.
What I love is like when they're doing that animation of him like scoring the goal in the World Cup. They show a very clearly depicted Antoine Griezmann, the guy who shows up on FaceTime.
Okay.
Who like is like in the cartoon like just has this big smile on his face as Pogba takes the shot. Like it's fucking destiny. Like he's putting smiles on his friends' faces. But I love like the part when he talks to when he FaceTimes with fucking Griezmann. He's like, oh hey, how's your kid? How are your kids? Like he's never not a great guy.
He, although there is in a little bit of the fourth episode we watched, like, one of his teammates comes over. He's like, "Look at my daughter." Can you
No, they're
believe-"
sharing a vacation house in Miami.
Oh, is that part of the same? Okay.
Yeah.
So they're sharing the vacation house in Miami, and he's like, "Oh, look, here's my daughter. Can you believe how big she is?" And he's like, "Wow, I can't believe I haven't seen you since like 2013." She's like, "Actually, it was 2018."
Well, that's okay. He's just dumb.
There's a lot of pog that went on in that time.
That's a 5-year difference in terms of like for a child. I feel like they're like a dramatically different height.
Yeah, but you know, it's all a pog blur.
Wouldn't 2018 would have actually been easy to remember because they said they were former French teammates. Wasn't that a World Cup year?
Yeah.
So you
yeah.
would have been able to extrapolate. Oh, I saw her when I was playing with her
But
dad. At
you
the
know, when
World
you're
Cup.
playing with like a national team, like you're also playing friendlies, you're playing the continental tournaments, you're playing Nations League, like you're playing with them like
Yeah, he's too
2 or
busy.
3 times a year.
He doesn't have time for any of that kind of.
I do love the part like there's a part that's just like real like in the second episode, speaking of teammates, they just have like a news clip say, and surprise, surprise, Karim Benzema's back on the team, and then they never address Karim Benzema again. I don't know if you're familiar with.
I'm
No,
not.
but I
Benzema.
like that as a storytelling.
Like
device.
he hasn't been on the team for 5 years. They don't really talk about why.
Okay.
Did a
Okay.
witch doctor put a curse on him?
No. It's so there.
We don't know.
He
some about
had
soccer.
he
We
had
brought you
he
on.
had 2 scandals. One was he was implicated in an underage prostitute ring as a client, and the
just
second
talked about
one
Seventh
second
Heaven.
one
Thank you for
was
clarifying as a client.
his teammate Mathieu Valbuena had a sex tape get picked up by someone who was trying to extort him over it.
Mm-hmm.
They had a recording of his sex tape, and I guess Karim Benzema knew the extortionist and was just tried to give some quote unquote friendly advice to his Mathieu, like, you should just pay the money, dog. So he was involved in extorting his teammate over a sex tape, and he got dropped from the team for 5 fucking years.
Did Pogba just include him so you reminded people? Listen, there's
There's a bigger
jerk
douchebag
on the team than
Well,
me.
they don't talk about what he did at all. Like I paused the documentary for 5 minutes or so, maybe 10 minutes, just to just to be like, wait, he just bring up Karim Benzema, because that was some wild shit. That was literally this is a literal criminal. I think they were still litigating this in 2022.
Well, you notice every time they go into the stadium, it's just like. It's
It's like a documentary about Tom Brady, and they're like, and Aaron Hernandez isn't even on the team anymore. How's he gonna win?
I miss him. He was such a good target.
Hey.
Jesus, man.
They're not even I wasn't really. They're not even gonna bother say I wasn't really friends with Kareem or
Not even
or I
yet.
thought he made a mistake trying to help extort his teammate over his sex tape.
It's almost like that Kareem has blackmail over Paul. He's like, you better put my name in your documentary.
Yeah,
He didn't say shit about it. It's literally just a news clip, and Kareem Benzema's back on the team. Nothing, no follow up whatsoever. They check in with Griezmann, but nothing else. They have the send off. They talk to Griezmann, but just the Benzema thing is just something don't talk about it.
Maybe it's addressed in one of the episodes we didn't
Wait,
watch.
when
that's true.
did the scandal happen?
Well, if that was the 2018 Euros, or not 2022 Euros, right? It was at least 5 years ago.
Okay, so
I wanna say
no, you're
before.
Right. Never mind. It was a long time ago. So
It was over 5 years before.
but they're like, he's back anyway.
It would have been
moving on.
2018 because 2022 was the World Cup. No, 2020. It would have been 2020 because Euros are on the opposite. Yeah.
But I do.
So it would have been 2014, 2015-ish that the scandal happened.
Why is he digging this up 8 years later?
He's not even digging it up. He's just
mentioning a guy who.
mentioning it and just leaving.
That's full on the room level storytelling. that's I spoke to the doctor. I definitely have cancer. Wait a minute, go back to that. Oh man.
I just remember the guy's name was Gary Glitter. That's the guy I was trying to come up with earlier.
When you were doing the song?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because he also was allegedly with an underage prostitute.
No, he's in jail. I don't think there's
Yeah.
any
No.
There's nothing alleged
Benzema,
about
Oh.
before that, there were
Yeah.
there were several French players a couple years before this other scandal, who were implicated as having had sex with underage prostitutes.
You're making Pogba look better and better as the discussion goes on.
Yeah, no,
I think you're just making all French people look worse. I don't think that's really making Pogba much better. This is the opposite of a rising tide raises all ships. This is just...
I guess Paul Pogba looked at his
it
teammate.
just shows how good like the French soccer team is like they'll just have these international career-ending scandals for their guys, and they can like still win a World Cup after that. You know, they can drop guys. They can afford to drop really good players for doing heinous things. You know, where it's like, you know, like in football, they'll be all like, hey, this guy kicked the child down 3 flights of stairs, but, you know, he's our best defensive lineman. We got to have him back on the team.
I guess a documentary about just the French national team would have been way more interesting than this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, there's just like you could do it like by World Cup cycle. Like the World Cup where, you know, Zidane headbutted that dude.
Yeah.
Like, the coach was like, freaking insane. He had like you know generational talents in Zidane and Thierry Henry. Like it was a great squad.
I was just telling my friend that the other day.
He was like partly setting his lineups by astrology. Like he was acting like a 20-something in Bushwick these days.
Really,
just really getting into astrology.
Who's got their CoStar apps organized by CoStar apps? Listen, if you join my team,
I will put you on the wing opposite a Leo, but never a Capricorn.
I found a story about Pogba online. Maybe you would know more about this than I would. I don't think it would ever get touched on the documentary. It seems like he was involved in some sort of kidnapping thing with his brother.
Okay, like the brother thing, like I did like some very light reading. Like his brother made like a ton of wild accusations. Like his brother's like, Paul's gonna like have me killed. He's left our family in poverty. He's done all this. Like I don't have.
I've seen the documentary. I don't think that's true.
Yeah, his brother's in the documentary.
Really? He's in the pot. Like
he was in the 4th episode that we were watching before he got here.
The same one is making the witch doctor.
Oh, I didn't know he had more than one.
I don't know
brother.
because like you don't like because he's not telling you everything about his life. There could be more brothers we don't know about.
An army of Pogs.
Because like the one
1995 beach culture.
Because the one I was reading about, he was like, yeah, he hired a witch doctor. He's threatening, like he's gonna have me killed. He's leaving our family. Like he was like, like a bottom tier professional league. Like he was like in the French 4th league or whatever, which is fine. It's like really cool to make a living doing soccer, no matter the level. But
it's like it's touring with your punk band around the country.
It's like
so the real good stuff is happening. In the 4th
it's like how Rob Zombie's little brother had Power Man 5000. You know, they were fun, but you know they weren't Rob Zombie.
Oh, it's the whole Iggy Marley.
No, it's Ziggy Marley.
Yeah.
Is there an
Ziggy.
Iggy Marley?
No, and show some respect. Ziggy did the Arthur theme.
Like, I think
point.
he would understand more than anyone that anybody that you meet can have an original point of view.
You know, wouldn't understand that? Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba understands one point of view, which is Paul Pogba's the best
what
player.
I love about the intro to the show is they're like, Paul Pogba's a showman. And then he gives you the most boring fucking show imaginable. Like, he could have at least hired some reality TV show producers to like spice things up where his wife's like mad about party invites or something. Make something up.
Yeah, no, he did need like a Real Housewives. Because those people are experts of making drama out of
Absolutely
nothing.
Yeah.
Zero things. Like if you can have a reality TV producer who's like a Real Housewives one, because I feel like he has like probably reality TV people and they're like, great, we'll stir up drama, we'll get this going. And he's like, no, we're not doing that.
What if he brought in reality TV people and he shot down all of their ideas other than giving food to homeless people?
They were just like, what are the ideas that make me seem nice?
Yeah.
I still get, oh god.
He also handed them like it was, because the only way he's ever seen people hand people things is like a driver delivery service.
Yeah,
so
he has like the folded top of the bed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, here you go, here's your bag of food.
And you know he had an assistant go up and have them sign a release before he gave them food.
Oh, weren't their faces blurred out though?
I still think they did some sort of vetting that it's not some guy that's going to attack Paul Pogba.
Oh,
it seems like the city of Manchester hates Paul Pogba.
Oh god!
So some guy
like
he does
go to great lengths just to like established that he loves Manchester. He's like,
And it's not believable.
here I am looking at some buildings of Manchester, some pretty cool buildings.
Wow, beautiful building.
At no point I expected to see him, but it never came. Where he like went into his favorite local shop and just shook hands with the proprietor. But
Oh
it
yeah,
never came.
there was that part where he's like, I used to get sandwiches with my boys, and it's just like, okay, this is like a frat brother. This is like when a frat brother like writes his like admission essay for college, where they're just like, what was your struggle? And it's like, one time I had to wait for a sandwich. Like there's just
Yeah, there's just nothing there. There's just
Yeah.
like one time this was really weird and difficult, and you're like, what was it? It's like, well, like I had to wait for like a while. My mom forgot to pick me up, so I had to wait for a little bit.
he's just a profoundly dull person. He's just
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, he's probably not, but he's unwilling to show us any of the interesting parts.
I mean, like, what would the interesting? Because I
The
know he's like
witch
kind
doctor.
of the witch doctor.
The
Yeah, you're
witch
right.
doctor is interesting.
The witch doctor is probably a
Okay,
pretty
yeah,
good
definitely
start.
that.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah,
There,
yeah.
if there was an episode about him hiring witch doctors to curse teammates,
Well, it would have been great if he tried to do the Michael Jordan thing, because you're like, Michael Jordan's like, I like to gamble, but it didn't get my father killed.
Yeah.
But
I like to hire witch doctors, but I didn't put a curse
because
on.
there's like a whole section in The Last Dance where he's like, I love to gamble, and like he has like a murderer's row of people being like, oh, like David Stern, the commissioner's like, I didn't secretly suspend him for gambling, or and 5 other friends go like, Michael didn't get his father killed. But like,
Everyone, we hear that rumor. It's complete bupkis.
But
That's what I say.
He could have had the witch doctor on, and then have some people say, "But he didn't curse anybody. He was just having him he was just having him clean up the house and
He's kind of a crazy guy. He likes doing a witch doctor thing sometimes.
yeah, like I'm spiritual in a lot of ways." Because there's that part where she's like, "I respect all religions." Blah,
Yeah, he's
blah,
like,
blah.
I grew up half Christian, half Muslim. I'm Muslim now, just what I prefer.
Yeah.
That's where you put in
But
the
I
witch doctor
vibe with all religions. Here's
Yeah.
here's my good friend, the witch doctor, who may or may not have done some contract work for me.
What other do you think?
I have 2 beautiful kids. Who do you think caused that? Witch doctor.
Do you think right before this came out, like the story about him putting a curse on Mbappe came out, and Mbappe, as revenge, hired a witch doctor to curse the documentary?
Just curse the editor.
Yeah.
So, suddenly, the first choice for editor just like fucking got COVID, and they had to like bring in
We
someone
were
else.
this close to Thelma Schoonmaker.
I mean, like, Mbappe, like I don't know anything about him, but like I just imagine hearing someone hired a witch doctor to like fuck you over. and
Your
just-
teammate, your
Your
national
teammate.
teammate,
Well, I mean,
hired
they
a witch
hired
doctor.
the witch doctor like it was like a Champions League something. It was when they were against each other for
Oh.
their clubs. But it's like.
Still.
No, it's like you have to see this guy, at work sometime. You have to go to the training center in Paris and be all like, "Oh, hey."
I mean, it is that thing of like having an addiction to winning, though, in such a strong way where you're like, listen, I'll do anything, and I've already maxed out my body, so I guess I'm down to just kill this dude.
Well, it's not even his kill. It's
Or
just
not
like make him play
cursed.
bad. It's just weird because like you hear stories about like, Michael Jordan punched Steve Kerr, and then Steve Kerr punched him back. Okay, guys, competitive guys do weird stuff to each other. But not I hired someone to ruin his life.
I wonder if they have footage that actually is interesting and shows them as a person. They can make their version of The Last Dance 30 years
There's
from now.
no, because like Last Dance was like they had like so much access. They were
Yeah.
in the Bulls locker room. They were interviewing people.
We don't know what access they had. We know
But-
what Pogba let us see.
Oh, I mean, it looks like Manchester United didn't let them like
No,
get
but
into anything.
but beyond that, though, that guy just talks. Pogba just talks.
Oh yeah,
Oh, you
So
think he said
that
some
guy-
really crazy stuff?
That guy has definitely said crazy shit
Yeah, it's
to
like-
this camera.
it's like
Because the whole thing is to get you to forget that they exist is kind of like part of how you make a good documentary.
Yeah.
So it
So
probably
they didn't
would.
do that for this one, is what you're saying?
Yeah, no.
They never made them forget they exist.
Well, that's because he stares constantly into the camera.
The only character development at all in this documentary was occasionally Pogba. Between 2 episodes, had like 5 different hairstyles. Guy changes his hair a lot.
I mean, if you could afford to, that'd be fucking dope.
Would it be like you got to go sit in a chair or talk to someone you don't know for
Dude,
an hour
you,
or two?
you can have a barber come to your fucking house, man.
I still wouldn't.
You might know him at that by a certain
Yeah,
point.
like you have like personal workers for everything. You have a personal chef. your lawyer comes and hangs out and plays with your kids for you.
Your agent compares you to Jesus or him to
Yeah.
Jesus.
Do we think the stress of this contract gave his agent a heart attack and killed him? Is this
No.
documentary the thing that killed the agent?
I mean, like he had other clients, right? I think he was fine because I think he
Yeah.
was talking. I think they were talking about like how his first transfer fee like netted that guy like.
They said it was a
$50 million.
record.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and his cut was like huge. Like this guy was doing fine. Like no, he just what did he die of?
I have no idea.
Embarrassment?
What embarrassment?
I mean, like if I were his agent or I was his manager, I would be telling him like, don't make this fucking documentary. This is like this is so dumb. Like
The fourth episode has him FaceTiming with his agent where they're talking about the contract, and the agent is in a dark bedroom lying chest down on some sheets, and you can tell he's shirtless.
Okay, I respect that. I respect that. But it's like he has a lawyer, he has an agent, but he doesn't have he doesn't have a freaking personal brand manager just to say don't or like
This is going to be very bad for you.
Possible
Yeah.
he had one and then he fired them and he hired his wife or something to do
yeah,
it.
it's so weird. Like there's like the editing thing, like oh like $500,000 a week isn't good enough or whatever. Like why would you leave that in or like why would you not like things like he doesn't even go. He's so unwilling to show vulnerability. Like he doesn't even like show any hobbies. Like he's not like he's not even like I like Lego or something. Here's like something weird about me or like I'm like a hardcore gamer. Like there's literally
I
literally
love
only
he
Lego
loves
and
vacationing.
Civil War
He loves-
reenactments.
he loves going on vacation with his family
And that's
doing
why
nice
he needs
things.
more than $500,000 a week.
I mean, it's
He's
like-
addicted to vacations.
I mean that rules. I think that's great for them, but it's just also like I cannot relate to that. It's
Yeah.
like I can't like I haven't had a real vacation in for fucking ever.
Well, that's why you got to go away and live in a different world watching the Pogmentary.
Oh,
Whisked you away to a
it's
different
like
life.
they're not even like taking us on like a good vacation. It's just like we went somewhere and rode some horses very slowly.
They went from Manchester to London. That was their
Yeah.
vacation.
We're gonna go ride horses in London. You know, horses, something they don't have in Manchester, and he's gonna compare himself to Lucky Luke, which only French people would get.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
It's like a French cartoon character. He's a cowboy.
I love French cowboys.
French, known for their cowboys.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a Wild West cartoon, and like the villains are the Dalton brothers.
Is it set in France?
No, it's set in the
Okay,
Wild West.
okay.
It's just like they.
Because I loved the idea of imagining Wild West French stuff.
No, it's just like there's like
With castles?
Yeah.
Cowboys and castles?
no, they were just like we love westerns. We'll make a cartoon about it. Lukey Luke.
Lukey Luke.
That's how they pronounce it.
Oh, so no, he had a brain hemorrhage.
Oof.
The agent?
Ferguson, yeah.
Ooh, that's rough.
Wait, was that his agent?
No, Ferguson wasn't his agent.
That
Alex
was his
Ferguson?
manager.
His manager was Rayola something. Manny.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
Are you looking up Alex Ferguson?
Yeah.
No, that was the team manager.
Yeah, that was
the
his team
Scottish
manager.
Oh.
guy. That was the guy when they played like the evil music, like
Oh, my bad.
Manchester United didn't respect me enough, and then they cut to like a press conference where he's just all like,
They don't. Nobody's got
Pogba didn't
pictures,
respect the
so
team.
So just Google Paul Pogba agent.
it was the guy who was first.
Pause this
pick.
right now. We're going to argue about your lack of Google ability.
I was like, I like that you think like that, like you saw his agent, you're like, that guy's a Ferguson.
Oh nope! I just googled Paul Pogba cause of death. Whoops.
Which doctor curse? Presumably.
Oh.
Upcoming.
Oh, Mino or Erling Haaland lung problem.
Lung problem. Okay.
Glad we got to the bottom of this.
Yeah, I mean that still sucks.
Well, he shouldn't have been lying on his stomach like that. Do we have any more to say about Pogmentary, or have we?
I really, oh man,
He's an unpleasant guy that tried to make himself look pleasant, and no one was convinced.
he's probably not even. Well, no, he's probably pretty unpleasant.
No, but it may not be his fault. It may just be he's grown up in a very unusual situation
yeah, no,
that
he's literally been like,
it leads to someone becoming unpleasant.
because he clearly was marked for like something greater as as a as early as like probably like 11, 12 years old. He's going through like the local academy, and they're like, he's gonna be something
this is
good.
the guy.
Yeah, and like
yeah.
and like it English scouts are surreptitiously, looking at him like, oh, we got to bring in this guy, like this, like from a very early age, he's targeted. And then like the trigger gets pulled when he's 16. And from there, he doesn't have to go to college. He's got like his whole life is pretty much taken care of. He definitely went through like a very uncommon experience.
Yeah. All right, I like him now. All right, that's fine.
I mean, I don't like him, but it's just like I sort of get why. Like, yeah, he's so. He's so profoundly dull.
I think there's a level though where we don't see a lot of these. This isn't like the thing of like all these terrible soccer documentaries.
Well, there are like terrible like vanity documentaries. Like a lot of guys like Kevin Durant made one. Like.
Okay, so it is just like when you're in that level.
Well, like it's not like they just don't get a lot of attention. They don't get like this negative of a review. It's always just something where it's like they're usually just puffing themselves up, and because they have a producer credit. It'll never be honest. Like The Last Dance wasn't honest, but at least it was entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell the truth about your dad, Michael.
Well, no, because like I said. Like the thing that kills me about The Last Dance is like so like Luke Longley was like the starting center for the Bulls during like the second like three-peat.
Okay.
And he doesn't exist in this documentary whatsoever because like
and a center's the hardest guy to hide.
And it's not well, it's like it's not like
he's paired up with front and
it's not like I don't think it's like a personal slight to him. It's just the fact that like he was in Australia at the time and COVID hit, so like they couldn't like interview him for everything.
Oh,
so like he just like
Do
for
a
this
Zoom
documentary
interview.
for this documentary he doesn't feature at all, and they just interview his backup center and pretend he was the guy the whole time. It's just bizarre.
It's so weird to just like in an era when there's Australian crews you could get and you zoom in with the Australian crew.
It's just like it's not like even like a personal slight. It's just Michael Jordan being like kind of a dick. Like it didn't really like ruin the documentary. It was just like one of those things where like,
but why?
Having watched that growing up, like, huh? Like Luke Longley was like a goofy redhead. Like
why are you rewriting history?
Yeah,
for no
he was like the Ringo of the Bulls. He was just sort of there and looking goofy.
When are we gonna get the Luke-mentary?
Actually, I think some Australian people did make a documentary to compensate for like a short one, but yeah.
Okay.
They're like, by the way, this guy also
Existed.
pretty cool.
I mean, he was like big for Australian basketball. He was like probably like he was like one of the earliest like Australian guys to really make it in the NBA.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
the
are
gravity's
famously
different. I assume. I don't know.
He's dunking on the wrong side of the hoop, just going from underneath.
Don't you when you dunk it swirls the opposite direction as it goes out? Okay, Ross.
Yes.
For the Pogmentary, how would you improve it?
I wouldn't make it.
Yeah.
I mean, like honestly, like to improve it would just like literally show any vulnerability. Like you don't have to like bare your complete soul, but like talk more about how hard it was like how weird it was at least growing up as like a soccer prodigy and like being recruited so early, having to go live abroad, or talk about like whatever the fuck happened with your dad. You're just like, oh yeah, my dad died, it was sad. Like just literally anything. Like there, like he comes off as a dull person, but like everybody has at least some personal detail to their life that's like kind of interesting.
What a sentence.
It's like like maybe some people aren't good storytellers, like but it's like, yeah, you just reveal anything about yourself, even just like a hobby, or like, and also just don't make it 5 episodes. That's insane. No one wants to watch a 2.5. Like that is literally a Lord of the Rings movie about you deciding if you want to stay at Manchester or not. It's not that. It's not that deep.
Absolutely not.
Like you probably could have cut together like an hour of interesting footage and like talked about, or maybe if you made it more biographical, but like just sort of dicking around your house and then going on vacation. Just
Well, it's that weird thing where
It ain't
it should be like a series on E.
Yeah.
In terms of level of depth. Like,
Yeah, that would be better.
but on Amazon, trying to make it look like an important documentary instead of like a bubblegum pop thing.
Yeah. Well, it's not even bubblegum pop. It's just like bubblegum, like,
On the bottom
Bullshit.
of a desk.
yeah, it's like bubblegum PBS. Like, what the fuck is this?
All right, Daniel, how would you improve it?
All animated.
All animated?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't hate that
It
idea.
was just kind of just an animated thing about a guy going around scoring goals. Whatever, man.
Him and his animated
Because
adventures.
like the
cares?
animation of that show really does go fucking hard.
It was good.
Like,
Yeah, no, it was good animation.
I do like we're just making like a weird like Jackie Chan adventure style
Kinda,
show.
yeah. Because this guy wants to pretend he's the best, so make a cartoon where
No,
he's
like
just having fun.
go full like Into the Spider-Verse where you're just like throwing random visuals.
Oh, we got
and
different
shit.
universe Pogbas.
Yeah, no, just
We've got an Italian Pogba.
Pigma.
I'm Paul Pogba, but I'm a pig, and also I'm a perfect god.
Yeah, every Pogba is perfect. They're just slight differences.
I'm a Pogba from the 30s. See, I'm the greatest soccer player who ever lived.
And I ended prohibition.
I would have Pogma assassinated in the second episode.
I mean, that's intriguing. That's who done it about who
Yeah.
killed Pogba.
Honestly, and then you watch the wife really try and harass the cops and everything like that, and then
And then it just turns into double indemnity where she was trying to have him killed all along for the life insurance.
here's the thing though: is if Pogma is dead, all the love that he feels he deserves suddenly becomes justified in the eyes of like his country,
Yeah.
and they will be like, yes. Obviously, this was the greatest soccer player that ever lived.
He gave
Cut
out
down
food
in
to
his
homeless
prime.
people.
You know what? Paul Pogba would influence a good character in a future Knives Out movie.
Just
He's this really rich guy that thinks he's the best even though he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
No, that's exactly like that would be like a Knives Out character.
Yeah.
wow. I'm glad we got there, guys. All right, Ross. The last thing we do is recommend a show,
Like just like a great show.
a great show that you think they can watch instead of this. It doesn't have to be anything to do with this. It's just like we just talked about a bad TV show for an hour. Let's talk about a good TV show.
I usually try to go related, but you don't have
Yeah.
to.
Well, okay. So I had like two ideas because like I'm like a big Matt Berry fan. You know, he's from he's on What We Do in the Shadows, and I think is like a little known show Snuffbox is
Great
like
show.
It's only 6 episodes. It's just like
One more than the Pogmentary? How dare
Yeah.
they?
6 episodes that will actually be worth your time.
Yeah, it's just like, it's like him right before, Toast to London, him and Rich Fulcher, and it's just sort of it's just a very weird like sort of like sketch kind of comedy show but it sort of has a central theme of him and Rich Fulcher being hangmen in modern London. Like they hang people and they make jokes with the priest who's given the last rites and stuff, but they also they'll just like throw in like weirdly heartfelt musical numbers in there. It's great stuff. Like it's like you'll see some of that influence in like Toast to London.
Oh yeah.
In
All right.
Dread,
so Snuffbox.
in Dread, Donald Gleason's character listens to the Snuffbox
Yeah.
theme. Anyway,
Yeah.
you want me to recommend a show now?
Sure, I can recommend a show. I got I was gonna say if you want a really good sports show, Friday Night Lights.
I'll recommend a show that you recommended to me because we kept talking about The Last Dance. There's a very funny parody of The Last Dance called Players from the makers of American Vandal.
That is a very difficult show to find right now, but very easy to find if you know how to be a pirate on the open seas, or if you know how to go to New Zealand-based television.
Can I make one more recommendation? Just like of a bad show.
Yeah.
The new season of Ted Lasso.
Oh yeah,
It is like I bring it up in comparison to the Pogba documentary because it's also about like someone just losing their like who has no idea how bad this looks like just to like make this take forever and not cut any ideas. Like Jason Sudeikis has just lost his mind, but it's fascinating just as a study in hubris.
They still get some good zingers in there, but
I
it
get
is
some
sad.
zingers.
No, the
It's
rating.
sad.
The
But there's
rating
no
is
reason
still-
these episodes should be a
No, I'm
fucking
not
like
disagreeing.
like an HBO prestige drama length. Like, what are
Yeah.
you doing? This isn't Better Call Saul, Jason.
Finally, an hour and 9 minutes about
In fairness,
Ted
how long did we
Lasso.
just talk about the Pogmentary for?
That's true.
58.
We're getting in under Ted Lasso time. Have a good one, everybody.